right, everybody. Welcome. I got to readjust my webcam because I have it positioned one way for History Maker Baseball and the other way for History Maker Baseball and one way for Strat-O-Matic, and so I need to fix this and put it where I want it for Strat-O-Matic. Hello, Mr. Robert. So let me make sure I've got everything in place. That's the disadvantage of playing multiple games, as I have different setups, and so to get this thing the way I want to, hopefully I won't get anybody dizzy around here while I'm getting this set up. How about if I just move it over like that? I think that will help. Hello, Marlon. How you doing? So I think that's going to take care of business, hopefully. Hopefully that will get everything in place. And we got the Yankees and the Indians. Final game from April the 25th. And it will be Rick Rhoden against Scott Bales. Yankees come into the game with a record of 11-6. The Indians come in 8-10. Scott Bales entered the game with a record of 1-1. Rick Rhoden is 2-1. Ballpark effects: singles are 1-11 for both lefties and righties, but home runs differ a little bit in Cleveland Stadium. Home runs 1-8 for lefties, 1-11 for right-handers. Wild pitch and balk for Bales is a 5 and a 0. For Rhoden's a 10 and a 2. Catcher hold, pitcher hold, -3 for Bales, -1 for Rick Rhoden. So I think all of those are finally out of the way, and we can get going. Cool, Hardwood. 1938 Yankees. Boy, going back a ways there. All right, now I'm hoping I don't have what happened at the tail end of my game with the Reds this afternoon, where the computer kind of locked up on me, and after I was signing off, I couldn't turn my computer off, so I had to do a hard restart, and it was just not the best thing in the world for me to happen. But we got around it. Okay, so Scott Bales finishing up the warm-up tosses, left-hander for Cleveland. And Ricky Henderson will be the man to lead things off for the Yankees. Full numbers on Scott Bales: he is 1-1, but his ERA is 6.23. He has done a few relief appearances and a couple starts. 17 innings pitched, 20 hits, 7 walks, and 12 strikeouts. And Ricky Henderson comes up hitting .305, a homer, and 2 driven in. And we're underway. The final game of April 25th, game number 119 on the season. And it's a 3-5 for Ricky against the lefty, and that's a walk. That's danger. You put Ricky on a walk, and you're almost looking at a double. Ricky will walk to get the lead. He needs a 6 or a 7. 6 or a 7 will get him the lead. I need to change out dice because I got 2 whites and 1 red, and I should have it backwards. That's an 8. So he will not get the lead. So he will hold. And that will bring up Willie Randolph. I know that on the other channel, that other channel doesn't have dice issues like this one just had, but easily fixed. And just like that, we're back to where we should be. Okay, so Willie Randolph steps up. Henderson still at first. Randolph sitting .318. No homers and 10 driven in. That's a 1-7 for Randolph, and he will walk. So back-to-back walks issued by Scott Bales. Not the way you want to start it out. That's going to put 2 on with nobody out for Donnie Baseball. Donnie Baseball coming to the plate. And Mattingly's kind of been down a little bit. He's hitting .269, 2 homers and 10 driven in. But he has a chance to make a statement right here. Give his team the lead. 1-7, and he does. 1-2 is a triple. 3-20 is a single. That's a 1. That'll be a triple for Mattingly. He had 2 all season, and this will be his first triple right here. Don Mattingly with a legs out a triple. A 2-run triple off the left-hander, no less. And the Yankees lead it 2-0. And Bales in serious trouble. We could go into the bullpen real early. Here's Winfield. The infield's going to come in. They got to choke that runoff. Winfield's hitting 257, 4 homers and 13 driven in. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is Bales to Winfield, 1-6, and that's a single to right field. I think if I remember correctly, every at bat's come off the Yankee bats. I don't think Bales has had a chance. So that's a single, and that's the disadvantage of the 50-50 model. That's a single for Winfield, RBI single, and the Yankees take a 3-0 lead before he can even sneeze. And here's Gary Ward. Winfield will be held. No, I'm sorry, he will not be held. Winfield will not be held. So here's Gary Ward, and Ward enters the game hitting 230, a homer and 8 runs driven in. 3-6 against the lefties. A ground ball shortstop A. That'll certainly help Bales a little bit. Stop the bleeding with the double play. 6-4-3. Variety, pitcher's best friend. 2 outs, base is clear for Ron Paw Kittle. Designated hitter. He's hitting 343, 4 homers, 11 driven in. Finally, something off Bales' card. 6-8, and it's a 1-15 single, so it'll be a base hit for Mr. Kittle. He will not be held. And that'll bring up Len Sakata. He's at third base with the lefty on the mound. They are sitting Pagliarulo. So Sakata is on. And in limited duty, he's hitting 071 in 14 at-bats. No homers and 1 driven in. So lefty pitching to Sakata, who's got a pretty good left-handed column, though. Column 1 especially. And he hits column 1. 1-7 is a single with 1 star. It's going to move Kittle to second base. The inning will continue. Boy, without the double play, no telling where we'd be. Here's Joel Skinner, catcher, hitting 195, no home runs and 4 driven in. Bales just trying to get to the second inning if he can. 3-4, and that's a fly to left field, and they're finally going to end the inning, but 3 runs for the Yankees. Here in the top of the first, it is Yankees 3 and Cleveland just now coming to bat. Rick Rhoden has been given a 3-0 lead to work with. Now, one good thing for the Indians, they can't pitch very well, but they can certainly hit. So the game is almost never over with their offense. And that'll bring up leadoff man Tony Bernazard. Bernazard steps to the plate. Bernazard is hitting 274, 2 homers, 9 driven in. 1-8 against the right-hander is a walk, and that's the way the game started. Now the bottom of the first starts the same as the top of the first. Leadoff walk. Hello, Prague. How you doing? Last thing we want to do with a 3-0 lead, start walking guys, but that's what Rhoden did. Now, Rhoden's pitcher-catcher hole is a -1. Bernazard, if he gets the lead, would be a 1-12. But you're down 3-0, so I don't think you want to run yourself out of an inning. They will hold him, but he will not try to go anywhere. And designated hitter Pat Tabler is up next. Tabler is hitting 405 and 79 at-bats. 3 homers and 15 driven in. One of the top hitters in the league. It's a 1-7, but he's going to strike out this time. That'll hurt the average. As Rhoden gets Tabler to whiff, and that'll bring up Julio Franco, shortstop. Franco is hitting 342, a homer, and 10 driven in. Rhoden to Franco. It's a 3-6, and that's another walk. It's going to load. It's going to put runners at first and second, I should say, not load the bases. But 2 walks in the inning. 2 on, good speed on the bases, and here comes Joe Carter. One swing of the bat could tie the game. Joe Carter at first base in this game, but he's struggling mightily. He is unbelievably hitting 134 and 82 at bats, a homer and 3 runs driven in. So to say he's due is a major understatement. Maybe this is where he breaks out of it. 5-7, ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Tollison. He is a 3E22 for Tollison. So let's get our charts out. Roll for a 3 and an 11. Probably going to be a fielder's choice, I'm guessing. 3 and 11 is a G2, so it would be a fielder's choice at second base. His E rating is 22 as a shortstop, so he has to avoid 6, 15, 17, and 18. And that is a 15. I don't think he avoided what he needed to avoid. He did not. E22 of 15 is right here, a one base error on Wayne Tollison. And instead of a fielder's choice, it's going to be an E6, and it's going to load the bases. Rhoden not happy as Tollison boots it. Loads the bases with only one out for Mel Hall. And he's been also one of the top hitters in the league. Mel Hall is hitting currently .396, 2 homers and 2 homers, 11 driven in. Bases loaded, one out. Tying runs are on base. It's a 6-5 to the lefty. That's a strikeout. Boy, 6-4 would have been a ballpark blast. But 6-5 is a strikeout. And a huge one for Rick Rhoden. But he's not out of the woods yet. Still has to get Corey Snyder in a clutch situation for Corey Snyder. And against right-handers, he loses 2 singles right here at 1-9 and 1-10. He is anti-clutch. So he has to avoid those rolls for sure. He's hitting .263, 3 homers, 7 driven in. So he wants to avoid 1-9 and 1-10. He does. 6-5 is not going to be better, though. It's a fly to center. And that's going to end the inning. So Cleveland's going to leave him loaded. And that certainly might come back to bite him for sure. At the end of one, it's still 3-0 Yankees as the Tribe left them loaded. So Wayne Tollison will lead off for the Yankees. His error turned out not to hurt them. Tollison hitting a .137, a homer and 5 runs driven in. That's a 5-9, switch hitter batting right-handed. It's a ground ball back to Bales. And there's one away. Final game for April. It seemed like it took forever to get through April 25th, but we finally gotten there to the end. And we'll start April 26th next week, and that will be the same pitching, same team matchups, different pitching matchups, obviously. Here's Ricky Henderson. He walked his first time and scored. 1-7 against the left-hander is a 1-7 double. That's a 4. It's a double for Ricky. He's on second base. Good speed. They will have to hold him on. And here's Willie Randolph. So the second baseman, Bernazard, is responsible for holding him on. Randolph walked and scored his first time up. It's a 4-10 against the right-hander. That's a strikeout, a big one for Scott Bales. And now there's 2 outs and a clutch situation for Don Mattingly. Triple his first time up. And against left-handed pitching, he gets 1 clutch hit on a 3-10. That helps his average, 3-10. Also against righties the same way, a 3-10 would turn it out to a clutch hit. Whoa, Suadice. Let's re-roll that again. Came flying out of there. 4-7, lefty on lefty. That's a ground ball, shortstop X. And shortstop is holding the runner because the lefty batter is up and Henderson's on second. So the shortstop, Franco, now becomes a 3 E26 because he was responsible for holding the runner. So as a 3, I'm not sure if the 7 is going to cut it. We'll find out. 3 and a 7 does not, because the pound sign means if you're holding the runner, it turns into a single 2 stars. So it will be a single 2 stars. Now we're going to check for an error. And Franco's an E26, so he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does, but it's going to be a single 2 stars by Mattingly. That will score Henderson. So holding the runner, that cost him. Mattingly comes through with yet another run batted in. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs for the Yankees in this game. 2 outs and 4-0 Yankees for Winfield. Bales has to feel kind of snake bitten. That didn't go through, so let's redo that. 6-4 against a right-hander. That's an in-home run chance, 1-19. That's gone. Dave Winfield, a 2-run bomb, and that's going to be it for. I don't think they can go for any further with Scott Bales. He's now tired. I guess they're going to try to get him through the inning, but he's now tired. He's given up 6 runs. For Winfield, that's home run number 5. RBIs 15 and 16 for Winfield. It is 6-0 Yankees. So all the Yankee haters are not happy right now. Here's Ward, 1-4. That's a single, so the hit parade continues. but the Indians need some innings out of Bales, so they're going to leave him in there to try to get him through at least this inning. Here's Kittle. .27 for Kittle, and that's a single. It's an anti-clutch, but nobody's in scoring position, so the single will be good. Keeps the inning going further. Another hit for the Yankees. They now have 8 hits in 2 innings against Scott Bales. It has just not been his night. And here's Len Sakata. Sakata is up. Oops, so this thing keeps bouncing out like Mexican jumping beans. It's a 1-8, and that's a single 2 stars. That'll be another run. It's now 7-0. Kittle takes third base. $7-0. And now something has gone wrong with my computers as I'm entering the game. So I must have entered something wrong on the computer. So let me go fix that. One more time. Okay, Winfield homered. All right. And then we had a single for Ward. And we had a single for Kittle. And we get the single for Sakata. Now we're back to straight to where we need to be. 10 hits for the Yankees now. 7 runs and 10 hits in an inning and 2/3 off of Scott Bales. And they're determined to let Scott Bales finish this inning. 4-6 against the right-hander, and that's a fly to center, but it's a fatigue check. So that turns into a single 2 stars because of the fatigue. And that's going to score the next run. And that's going to make it 8-0. They batted around. Here's Tollison. He's led off the inning with a ground ball back to Bales. Bales has got to take one for the team here. 6-2, and that's a walk. And that will load the bases, basically. I'm sorry, down here. I was putting up there by Henderson. That batting around kind of threw me off on that one. So we need to fix that. Of course, Ricky could walk too. You never know, but you don't want to give it prematurely. And now that's it. They finally caved in and said, we can't take this anymore. So Bales is coming out of there. The Tribe fans are wondering why it took so long, but they were trying to get him through the inning. And they're going to bring on Rich Yet for long relief. It is going to be Rich Yet. And the fans are not giving a hand to Bales. They're giving a hand to the manager for finally coming to his senses and bringing in a relief pitcher. So Rich Yet will be coming on. And for Yet on the replay, he is 0-1 with a save, but an 8.49 earned run average. 12 innings pitched, 11 hits, 11 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Yet coming in a very hard situation, and it's actually Ricky Henderson at the plate with those bases loaded and 2 out. Henderson has walked and doubled. That's a 2-4, and he's going to ground it to third to finally end the inning. Yankees leave them loaded, but they put up 5 runs here in the second inning to take a 8-0 lead. And we'll get the gory details on Scott Bales. See what he's officially charged with. He's going to go an inning and 2/3, Will Bales. He gives up 11 hits, 8 runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. Obviously in line for the loss, unless there's a miracle comeback. Rick Rhoden, however, is enjoying this run support. as he comes out with an 8-0 lead. And Rich Yett's just going to pitch as far as he can go for the Indians, too, to save their bullpen. All right, so leading off is Brooke Jacoby. I think leads the league. He's hitting .418 in 67 at-bats, 4 homers and 18 runs driven in. That's a 6-7. That's a strikeout. So Rick Rhoden doesn't care what he's hitting. He's energized by that 8-0 lead. Here's center fielder Dave Gallagher without the mallet or the melon. He is out there hitting. And Gallagher is 0 for 23. He's hitting 0. He's 0 for 23, looking for his first hit of the season. 4-12, and he won't get it. It's a ground ball to Rhoden. And that's easily 2 up and 2 down. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Rick Dempsey, the catcher. Dempsey is hitting .233, a homer and 8 runs driven in. 5-8, and that's the first hit of the game for the Indians. It's going to be a single for Rick Dempsey. So at least there goes the no-hitter early without having to worry about that. And that brings up Bernazard. Obviously, Dempsey not being held. It's a 6-7. Switch hitter batting left. That's a strikeout to end the inning. So 2 innings are in the books, and it's all Yankees 8-0 here after 2. And Rich Yett, his job is to eat innings. He needs to eat some innings here. So I've got to adjust the score sheet 1 inning over, so don't get confused what inning it is. So we're starting the top of the 3rd, and it'll be Willie Randolph. He's walked and struck out. 1-6, and he will ground it to short. 1 away. And I know it's kind of bad that we don't have a close game going, but hopefully at least rolling the dice will give you some ambiance in the background while you're doing maybe whatever else you're doing tonight. Just trying to relax and listen to some Strat. Maybe this is a good time to do it. Actually, this could be the best chance I have for a cycle all year because Manley has his triple and single already. He's got a lot of at-bats left to get a double and a home run. So never had a cycle, so this would be a neat time to get it. That's a 4-6, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. That is Franco. He is a 2. 2 and a 7, though. I believe he will get to that and make that play. He does, but we're looking for an error. And he is an E26, so they got to avoid 12, 17, and 18 to avoid the error. And that is a 13. He barely does. So Franco, tough hop, but throws Mattingly out for out number 2. And it's going to bring up Winfield. He's singled and homered in his 2 at-bats against Bales. That's a 6-4. That's a pop out to boy. 6-5 would have been a ballpark blast, but 6-4 is a pop out to first. Joe Carter gets it, and Yett goes 1, 2, 3. How about that? So Rich Yett keeps the Yankees at bay, at least for 1 inning. Bottom of the 3rd we go. Still 8-0. Here's Pat Tabler. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11 on the singles. That's a 5. It will be a single for Pat Tabler. So that ground ball to short turns into a single with the ballpark check and the cooperative D20. That brings up Franco. To 2-7. That's ground ball to short. That's going to take care of that. 6-4-3 double play. So any thoughts that Cleveland might have had of making any sort of a rally this inning seems to have dissipated on the double play. Although Joe Carter could hit a long ball, you never know. He reached on an error his first time up. It's a 2-8 for Carter, and that's trouble. 1 to 15 is a double. That is a 16, though. So that'll just be a single for Carter, not a double. But he'll take it. The way he's been struggling this season, he'll take it. And here's Mel Hall. And with the score being 8-0, they're not going to try to steal. Nobody's going to try to steal on either side. That's a 3-4 for Hall. He's going to pop it up to third. Len Sakata will make the play, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 innings are in the books here in Cleveland, and it's the Yankees all over the Indians, 8-0. Yankees have righties in there against the lefty starter Bales, but they'll just leave him in there. With that lead, there's no sense doing anything else. Here's Ward. Ward has hit into a double play and singled. That's a 2-8, and he's going to get another single right here, 3-20. So Gary Ward, leadoff single. That is hit number 12 for the Yankees. First hit off of yet that he's allowed. And here's Kittle. Kittle. 3-2 for Kittle as a foul out to the catcher Dempsey. One away. And that will bring up Sakata, who's 2 for 2, but that was against the lefty. Let's see what he does against the righty. He's much more, that's a 2, so it's a chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're checking the balk rating of Rich Yet. And his balk rating, the balk rating of Yet is a 0, so he cannot balk. His wild pitch, though, is an 18 if it gets to that. But he can't balk. 4-11. And that's a ground ball first base X. That's going to be Joe Carter. He's a 3. 3-12 for a first baseman. 3-12 is a G2. They'll get the force at second base. And his error rating is an E24. So there's a lot of chances for an error here. 3 and then 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, and 18. He's got a lot to avoid. That is a 15. Can he do it? E24 is that he avoided the 15. Look at that. E24, there is no 15. It jumps from 11, 12, 13, 14 up to 17 and 18. No 15 or 16. So Carter gets lucky, and he'll throw to short for the force play as Sakata reaches on the fielder's choice. But very lucky for the Indians, it was not another error. So here's Joel Skinner. Skinner, 1 for 2. That's a 4-9, and that's going to be a ballpark blast on a 4-9. Skinner has normal power. The ballpark blast for right-handers are 1 to an 11, but that's a 17. So it's just going to be a fly to left to end the inning. Had we been playing advanced and not super advanced, that would have been a home run. But super advanced, you require the ballpark check, and it was not to be with that 17 on the D20. So Cleveland catches a break on that one, which they need when they're down 8-0. They need all the breaks you can get. So we go to the bottom of the fourth, still 8-0. Rick Rhoden in cruise control. We'll be facing Snyder, Jacoby, and Gallagher. And like I said, not the close game I wanted that I've had the last couple games, but you're going to get clunkers like this. 5-4, and that's going to be a strikeout. Of course, if you're a Yankee fan, it's not a clunker. It's a good game. So it's all your perspective. So here's Jacoby. Jacoby struck out his first chance. That's a 6-5, and that's a fly to center. 2 down. And unfortunately, I'm not the type that can make a blowout game entertaining like some people can that stream, but it is what it is. Here's Gallagher, 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Willie Randolph is a 2. And as a 2, he needs to get basically a 3 or higher. And he does. So it's a G3. And then he's an E17. So E17, he's got to avoid 3, 6, 15, and 18. And it's a 6, so it will be an error. It will be an error on Randolph. E17, and that 6 is sitting right here. So it is an E4 to keep the inning going. So Randolph boots the simple play. Rhoden looking over like, what's the deal, dude? But It happens, especially in the 8-0 game. His concentration may have been wavering. 2, chance for balk or pass ball. That's a chance on pass ball for Joel Skinner. His pass ball rating, though, is only a 1. So there will be no pass ball. That's a 2-3 for Dempsey, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. And it's going to go to the force play, 6-4 on the fielder's choice to end the inning. So the Indians can't make any hay against Rhoden. Score still 8-0 as we go to the 5th. And like I said, they will ride Rich Yet until his arm falls off. Save their bullpen for the rest of the series. So here's Tollison. 4-6, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Franco. He's a 2. 2 and a 3. That's trouble, but I think he might get to it. 2 and a 3, he does get to it. It's a G3, which is good enough. And he's an E26, so got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. Those are the numbers to avoid. And he does with a 14. So it's good play for Franco. He makes a nice play. Tollison, one of the few Yankees without a hit. In fact, I think he's the only Yankee without a hit. Nope, Randolph doesn't have a hit either. So 6-3 ground out. And it will send up the top of the order for Ricky Henderson. It's a 2-11 for Henderson. That's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That's a 3. So Ricky does it again with another hit. He's 2 for 3 with a walk. But with the score 8-0, they will call off the Dogs and not send Henderson. But the Indians will have to hold him on, because if he doesn't, then they'll just give him a free pass, basically. And he just take the base out of spite. So you still have to play it, the way you should be. Here's Randolph. 4-5, and that's a strikeout. Yet is not tired, so at least he's not tired yet. And strikeout is good. 2 down for Don Mattingly. Singled and tripled and grounded to short. Nothing on the Havoc. 1-4 for Mattingly. It's a fly to right field, and my chances of getting the cycle seem to be dwindling all of a sudden. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything about it, because it's not looking too good right now. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 8-0 are still our score. Rhoden in total control. Here's Tony Bernazard to lead it off. Walked and struck out. Hello, Kenyon. Unfortunately, not a close game. 8 runs in the first 2 innings. Did end Scott Bales, and Rich Yet's trying to hold the fort down. It's a 4-9. Switch to batting left. That's a 1-12 single, and it will be a base hit for Bernazard. So leadoff single for Bernazard. And Pat Tabler is your batter. Tabler, the DH, is 1 for 2. That's a 4-9. That's a 1-13 single. That's a 14, though. He's going to line it to short, where Tollison will snag it. And there's 1 away. For Julio Franco, he hit into a double play his last time up. The Indians are hoping he doesn't do that again. I don't know if you missed action, Kenya, but you missed a lot of chaos and debauchery, that's for sure. 3-8 for Franco is a ground ball shortstop A. He's done it again. His second consecutive double play he's hit into. 6-4-3 once again for Franco. It's going to end the inning. And the leadoff single goes for naught. And the Indians are turned away once again. 8-0 ball game. We go to the 6th. Rich Yet back in there. He came in, get the last out of the 2nd, and he's pitched the 3rd, 4th, and 5th without giving up anything. They'll try to keep eating these innings. Here's Winfield. 5-11. That's a fly ball right field X. That's going to be Snyder. He's a 2 with an E11. 2 and a 9 should be okay. Get the chart for that. For the outfielder, a 2 and a 9 is an F2. And he is an E11. That might be a little more problematic. E11, he can have an error on 3, 4, 13, 15, 16, and 18. And that is a total of 13. I think I saw that. Yep, 13 is a 2-base error on Corey Snyder. So goes from bad to worse. Winfield leads off with a 2-base error on Corey Snyder. Not what the Tribe needs. Winfield will take second base to start things off. And Gary Ward, the batter. Oops, Sue dice. Let's re-roll that. 5-9 against Yet is a ground ball, second base C, so the runner will move up. Winfield will take third base on the 4-3 grounder, and the infielder will, of course, have to come in. With one out, and Ron Kittle, the batter. Infield is in. Kittle is 2 for 3. 1-7. He's going to strike out. Both those hits were against the lefty Bales. Not so successful against Yet. Now with 2 outs, the bases are, or the infield's back to normal. And here's Len Sakata, who was 2 for 2 against the lefty Bales, but not 0 for 1 against Yet. 1-3, and that's a walk, so the inning will continue. And we'll go to Joel Skinner. Skinner, 1 for 3. That's a 2. Chance of a balk or a pass ball. Chance of a pass ball on Dempsey. His pass ball rating is a 3. And he will block it, not allow the pass ball. 5-12. That's a ground ball back to Yet, and that's going to end the inning. So Rich Yet's going to pitch 4 1/3, scoreless relief, and he's going to stay in there. Why take him out? Why take him out? He's pitching. Better than anybody else has pitched. That's for sure. So bottom of the 6th we go. Rick Rhoden back out. This is his fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on that. Joe Carter, it will lead it off. He's 1 for 2, reached on the error and singled. Hello, Mr. Harris. How are you? Sorry about your Tribe. But Scott Bales got taken to the woodshed in the first 2 innings, and it's been a stalemate since then, but 8-0 is held up. Here's Carter. 4-9, and that's a 1-13 single, but that's a 14. That's kind of nice to spend for Cleveland. And instead of getting the single, he will line it to short. Missed it by 1 number. So Carter continues to struggle. Here's Mel Hall. He's 0 for 2. Strikeout and a pop to third. 6-7 against the lefty is a strikeout. There's a dot there, but of course he hasn't reached fatigue yet. So the strikeout is good. And that'll bring up Corey Snyder. He had a 2-base error in the top of the inning, but at least it didn't cost him a run. It's a 1-4. That's a ballpark single. 1-11. That's a 3. So Snyder will get the 2-out single. Seems rather insignificant, but he will get it. And here's Jacoby. Jacoby is 0 for 2. 2-7, and that's going to be a single again. There's a clutch there for anti-clutch, but the runner is not in scoring position. So single will go to right field. And let's see, Winfield's got a -4 arm. Even with 2 outs, I don't think they want to take any chances. They're pretty much station to station at this point, because being at second with 2 outs and third at 2 outs, not that much of a difference. And that'll bring up Gallagher, who has to hit because we're not in the 7th inning yet. So we got to stick with Gallagher. Mr. 0 for 25 is Gallagher. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Gallagher is 0 for 25 on the season. Rhoden to Gallagher. Oops, Sue dice. Let's read. I don't know. I've had this jumping bean dice for some reason. I don't know why. 4-8 is a walk. So Gallagher will reach to load the bases. How about that? The bases are loaded. He walks, and Rhoden is now tired because he's given up his third base runner. But they're going to see if he can get through the inning. He's still pitching a shutout. Here's Rick Dempsey. Bases loaded. The Indians left the bases loaded in the first, so could do it again. That's a 6-8, and this time they'll come through. It's a single to center field for Rick Dempsey, so the Tribe is on the board. Scoring is Snyder. Let's check out Jacoby. He was not being held, makes him a 12. 2 outs is a 14. Henderson's a +2 arm is a 16. So he will score. And Gallagher, do they want to try to get him to third? 14 not being held is a 15 +2. Yeah, he will take third. And Ricky will just toss it back in to keep Dempsey at first. So it's a 2-run single off the batter, Rick Dempsey. And it cuts the lead to 8-2. Trying to get Rhoden through the inning, but they won't mess around if he keeps giving up some hits. Here's Bernazard. He's 1 for 2. 1-6 for Bernazard. Split chance. 1-5 is a single, but that's a 15. It'll be a line out to second to end the inning, but at least the Indians get on the board as they pick up 2 runs. And I believe that will be all for Rick Rhoden. So Rhoden is done. He's going to go 6 innings, give up the 2 runs, which were earned. And we'll get his full totals to finish out his score sheet from the box score. Rhoden's going to go 6 innings, give up 7 hits and 2 runs, walks 3, strikes out 6, and of course he will qualify to be the winner, assuming Cleveland doesn't have a miracle rally in them somewhere. Rich Yett starts the 7th inning. He will start the 7th for Cleveland. And he'll be facing Wayne Tollison, bottom of the order for the Yankees. It is Wayne Tollison. Wayne Tollison it is against Yett. And that is a 1-9. 1-9 for Tollison. Ground ball to first. Joe Carter will take it to the bag himself. And there's one away. So if anything, only thing promising coming out of this game for the Tribe is the pitching performance by Rich Yett. He has solidly done the job. 3-6 for Ricky. He will walk. And that's the second time he has drawn a base on balls. But of course, with the score being 8-2, they won't send him. They will have to hold him, but they won't send him. Here's Randolph. 2-7 for Randolph. That's a single to center. And center fielder arm is Gallagher's a 0. Ricky's a 17. Being held as a 16. So they will go ahead and hold him. They'll be kind and hold him at second base. Lou Piniella not wanting to put the screws on the Indians just yet. Here's Mattingly. Mattingly, bullpen action for the Tribe as Yett may be getting to his limit. And it looks like right-handed activity down the bullpen. It is Tom Waddell, ultimate mop-up guy. He is loosening the bullpen. Here's Mattingly. That's a 1-10 for Mattingly. That's a single to left field. That's going to load the bases as they stop Ricky at second base. Bases are now loaded. And that is hit number 15 for the Yankees in this game. 4th one given up by Yett as Bales gave up 11. Bases are loaded, 1 out, infield looking for the double play if they can get it off of Winfield. 3-4 for Winfield. It's a line out to second base. So it's not a double play, but it is an out without the runners advancing, which is good enough. Yett is tired, so they're trying to get him through this inning. But if he hits that dot, that could be trouble. but they really don't want to bring in Waddell with the bases loaded. So they're going to let Yet pitch one more time to Gary Ward. 5-8, and it's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Franco. He's a 2. 2, and that's an 11, it looks like. 2 and 11. Check out what the 11 was. 2 and an 11. We get our score sheet here, or defensive sheet. 2-11 is a G1, so we go to second base for the force play. But the E26, he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. That's crucial to not make it worse. And that's a 15. He just barely avoided it. So good play. It's going to go 6-4 on the fielder's choice. And that's going to be it for Rich Yet. So Rich Yet pitches 5 1/3 innings of shutout relief. And he will have to have a few days off for sure, and they're well-deserved days off. So we'll get the numbers on Yet, because that was an excellent bit of relief pitching, if I do say so myself. So let's go to the box score and get the totals for Rich Yet. Now pinch hitting is allowed the rest of the game, so you won't see Gallagher hit anymore, obviously. Rich Yet 5 1/3, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. So stellar performance there from Rich Yet, and the Tribe fans give him a warm round of applause as he leaves for the inning. Yankees will bring on a new pitcher for the tired Rick Rhoden, and it will be left-handed pitching Bob Shirley. So Bob Shirley, the left-hander, will be coming on. Bob Shirley. He's got long relief. He could actually finish the game if they need him to. So Bob Shirley will be coming on for the Yankees. And in the replay, he is 2-1 with no saves and a 5.79 earned run average, 9 innings pitched, 10 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. So Shirley is on, and he'll be facing Tabler, Franco, and Carter for the Cleveland Indians. 8-2 Yankees. 7th inning stretch, we have reached that, but I don't feel like stretching. I feel like trying to get this game over with. I am honored that 15 of you are still hanging around with the score being what it is. That's tough to hang around with a score like this, but thank you very much for those that are. 5-4 against the right-hander for Shirley is a ground ball third base X. That's Sakata. Sakata's a 3. 3 and 11 for Sakata should be good enough. 3 and 11 is a G2. That is good enough. His error range is an E34, so he's got to avoid 6, 9, 12, 15, 14, and 17. So lots of numbers there to avoid with that E34 number. That's a 9, and he does not avoid it. 9 is a one-base error on Sakata. So E5 on Sakata. And that will send up Julio Franco. Shirley to Franco. 1 chance of a wild pitch on Shirley, and his wild pitch rating is a 5. It's no wild pitch, so blocked by Skinner. And we'll bring it into Franco. 3-6 left-handed is going to be a walk. So not a good start for the reliever Bob Shirley. Now the error was not his fault, but the walk certainly is. First and second, nobody out for Joe Carter. 1 long ball, and all of a sudden it gets to be interesting. Hello, Beatles. How are you doing? Didn't see you sneak in there. Unfortunately, you did not come into a close game, although the Tribe is trying to make it a close game. Here's Joe Carter. 4-12 against Shirley's ground ball first base C, as the first Mattingly will flip to Shirley covering. That'll move the runners up to second and third with one out. Infield, of course, back with an 8-2 lead for Mel Hall. Lefty on lefty matchup, though. Hall's not the greatest against lefties, but he might still be better than what's on the bench. Well, they do have Carmen Castillo, who's a pretty good hitter against lefties, but the way Hall's been hitting this season, they're going to, even though he's 0 for 3 in the game, they're going to let him hit. Infield is back. Just all good to put the ball in play, and they'll probably score a run. Whoa! I think these Mexican jumping bean dice are all over the place. 6-7 lefty is a walk. So look at that. Hall will reach on the base on balls, and that's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded for Corey Snyder. And Beatles, in case you missed it, Scott Haybales got plunked for 8 runs in less than 2 innings. So as the song goes, he's a real nowhere man living in a nowhere land. So that counts. All right, here is Corey Snyder. Shirley to Snyder, bases loaded. They left the bases loaded in the first, and they almost left the bases loaded last inning, but they did score 2 runs. They did leave 2 on base, though. It's a 4-3, and it's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Tollison. He's a 3E22. As a 3 and a 12, he'll get to it. 3 and a 12 is a G2, so he will get to it, but his error chance is a 22 at shortstop. So E22, he's got to avoid 6, 15, 17, and 18. And we've got Sua dice all over the place again. I got to watch how I roll these dice, I guess. That's a 7, so E22 is safe on that. 6 would have been an error, but not a 7, so it's a fielder's choice, 6-4 to end the inning. And again, they leave the bases loaded. So they're going to have a lot of LOBs when this game's over with. No doubt about it. And wait a minute, is that just, hold on. Was that the first? That's only the first out. My bad. I mean, the second out. My bad. Good thing I got the computer with me. That is only the second out. We had an out here, and that's the second out. So the run actually scores. So I need my correction again. It is 8-3, not 8-2, and they're still batting. Good thing I had the computer there to keep me honest. So scoring the run is tabular. It's unearned. But they don't, Indians don't care at this point. They just want runs. So Jacoby is your batter. So something happened here. Where did I not get what I needed to get? So walk to Hall. Gotta fix this on the computer. All right, Hall did walk. Okay, so we're good there. And then Corey Snyder hit to the fielder's choice, which was 6-4. Okay, so now we're straight. Jacoby is your batter. It's now an 8-3 game. If Jacoby would hit a long ball, it'd be 8-6, and we have a brand new ball game. So don't count him out just yet. Jacoby does have some power against lefties. 6-5, though, is a line out to second base, and that's going to end the inning. So Cleveland does walk away with a run, but they were looking for more. We go to the 8th. It is 8-3, favor of the Yankees, and Rich Yett, who went 5 1/3 scoreless relief, will now be lifted, and they will bring in one of their scrub pitchers, Tom Waddell. He's not even carded. I had to card him myself, or print him myself off the computer. So take that for what it's worth. Tom Waddell. Or I could keep going with Yett being tired, but I don't think that would be fair to Yett. Let's see. Actually, Waddell is not on the roster. I take that back. I forgot to remove him. He's not there. So we can't use Waddell. There is a computerized picture that I did not print off. Frank Wills. Willis or Wills? I think it's Wills. Let's see. I don't think I have a computer card of him, but let me double check it just to be on the safe side. I don't think I do, but never hurts to look. I don't want to say I don't have it and I end up having it, so, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Now there's no Wells card at all. So Wells is not carded, so I don't want to use him. Then again, I might, because he's got to be used at some point. Nah, guess I better not. We will go with, let's see, who's got the, we'll go with the old veteran, Doug Jones. Doug, along came Jones. He will get the call out of the bullpen. Doug Jones. He will pitch the 8th inning, and he'll be facing Kittle, Sakata, and Skinner. Yankees not interested in making any changes since they are ahead 8-3. That's a 4-8, and Doug Jones is going to give up a single on the 4-8 to Kittle. And for the Yankees, that is hit number 16. Brings up Sakata. Beatles, do you have any kind of chin wag going on after this game or later tonight that I can tune in for, maybe? Or either that or maybe a OTP game or a pocket pennant run or something like that. That's a 6-9 for Jones that struck out Sakata, strikes him out. All right, looking forward to that. I'll try to get this game over as soon as I can so it'll clear the way for you to do your thing, because it'll be more exciting than what I'm doing now with this blowout 8-3 game. Here's Skinner. 6-6, that's another strikeout for Doug Jones. 2 quick outs after the single, and that'll bring up Tollison. Now, Pure Sim Baseball is something I've heard of, but I haven't played before, so that could be interesting to check that game out. 212 for Tollison is a 1-16 home run. Do you believe that? Wayne Tollison is going to go deep. He had 1 home run all season, did Wayne Tollison. 1 home run in 349 at bats. And his strat card, it comes up on a 212. 212. 1-16 is a home run. That's a 2. So you just saw Wayne Tollison's first home run of the season. Actually, he's had 2 home runs now in 55 at bats. So that roll has come up more than once. But it's gone. A 2-run home run for Wayne Tollison, of all people, his second of the season. And it's going to make it now a 10-3 game, as Doug Jones can't believe it. And Ricky Henderson will be called back. They will give Ricky the rest of the game off, I think, or will they? No, they're going to leave him out there. They say, Ricky, you keep going. It's free. Cool. I definitely might check that. That's, if it's free, it's for me, and I'll take 3. It's my philosophy. My frugal self. 1-8. It's another walk for Ricky. Boy, it's his 3rd walk of the game. But of course, the score being 10-3, they're not going to send anybody. Here is Randolph. It's a 1 chance of a wild pitch on Doug Jones, and his wild pitch rating is a 0, so he cannot wild pitch, so we don't have to worry about that. We just drive on. Oh, and that didn't go through. I missed the hole there when I was falling away in my chair from picking that dice up. 2-8, and that's a 1-19 single, so even though it's an 18, the 19 is a single 1 star, and the inning will keep going. 2 outs. And the inning continues for Mr. Mattingly. Mattingly, 5-6 against Jones is a strikeout. So Doug Jones strikes out the side, but in the meantime, he gives up 3 hits and 2 runs. But he did strike out the side for a silver lining. And I think that's going to be it for Jones. They're going to bring in Doug Camacho to pitch the 9th. If you pitch Jones 2 innings, he won't be available tomorrow. So they're going to use Camacho in the top of the 9th. Although I'm tempted to use a position player to save the bullpen. That's another possibility. So Doug Jones is going to go 1 inning. He's going to give up 3 hits and 2 runs, which were earned. 1 walk and strike out the side. So Bob Shirley back out. And he will be facing Mr. Gallagher. Once again, is scheduled, but he will not hit. As we're past the 7th inning, we can now use substitutes. So Carmen Castillo will come in and hit for Gallagher. Will hit for Gallagher. So Gallagher is still Mr. Over. So Castillo will pinch hit here in the 8th inning. So all Gallagher fans are smacking the melon with the mallet in frustration, but Cleveland's got to do what Cleveland's got to do. So Castillo is on, and he's hitting .278 and 18 at bats. 2 homers and 4 driven in. It's a 4-4. Catcher X. That is going to be Skinner. He's a 2. 2 and a 10. Check the defensive chart for catchers. 2 and a 10 is a P/F. Nobody's on base, so there can't be any, but there could be a pass ball maybe on a P/F. We'll see. Let's see. Error rating on Skinner is an E4. So he's got to avoid 16, 17, and 18, which he does. So we'll check the P/F over here. P/F, where are you? There you are up here. With runners on base, nope, nobody's on base. So pass ball does not occur. So instead, it will be a foul out. So Castillo will foul out to Skinner. 1 away. And Gallagher saying, I could have done that myself. And probably with more flair. Here's Dempsey. 3-10 for Dempsey. He's going to fly to center. That's 2 down for Bernazard. Bernazard. 2-7 against the lefty. Struck him out. So Bob Shirley looking to get a save. Cheap one at that by going 3 innings. We go to the 9th. And coming into play center field will be Otis Nixon. He will come into play center field after Castillo pinch hit for the center fielder. So Nixon will play center field in the 9th. Otis, my man, Nixon. But here comes Ernie Macho Camacho. He will be on. And he'll be facing, let's see who's coming up for the Yankees. It is going to be Winfield, Ward, and Kittle are the scheduled hitters, but we might see some extracurricular activity here. In fact, we're going to see Danny Pasqua pinch hit for Winfield. So the Yankees try to give some of their bench players an at-bat or so. So Danny Pasqua will pinch hit, and then he will be in right field for the bottom of the 9th inning. So Danny Pasqua will pinch hit against Mr. Camacho. So Camacho enters the game 1-0 with a save, 6.35 earned run average, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Pasqua, the pinch hitter, enters the game hitting a .188, 2 homers, and 4 driven in. So Camacho on for the Tribe against Pasqua. 2-11 for Pasqua. He's going to fly to center. That's 1 away. So Pasqua is retired, brings up Gary Ward. And they will let Ward hit because they don't have any other outfielders now. So all the outfielders have to pretty much stay where they are. So Ward will swing away. It's a 4-6, and that's a line out to first base and snagged by Joe Carter. 2 down. Hey, Beatles, maybe I should play the 87, this game in 87 on OOTP and see how badly Scott Bales does. Maybe I'll do that just for the fun of it. All right, here's Kittle. Whoa, another. Well, I got these jumping dice. I got to figure out what the heck's going on with these jumping dice. 2-6 for Kittle, and that's a 1-12 home run. It's a 16, so he flies to left. It would have been just like this game to have a home run, but it's just going to be a fly to left. So Camacho pitches 1 inning, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Camacho. How about that? So the Yankees are going to end up with 10 runs and 18 hits. Something else. 10 runs and 18 hits. The Tribe's going to end up with 3 errors. Yankees won. And going into play right field will be Danny Pasqua. As Bob Shirley looks to get the save. The 3-inning rule will give him that save as long as he finishes the game. So we got Shirley against Tabler. It'll be Tabler, Franco, and Carter due up for the Yankees. In fact, I'm running out of room, so we'll move the cards over here. It'll be Tabler. Hey, Double D, how you doing? Yeah, he didn't go 8 1/3 in this one. Shirley to Tabler. That's a 3-6, and that's a 1-8 home run chance. That is an 8. So Pat Tabler goes yard on Bob Shirley. It's now a 10-4 good buddy game. And for Tabler on the season, that is his 4th home run, RBI number 16. It's now a 10-4 good buddy game. And that'll bring up Franco. Julio Franco. It's a 3-7 for Franco, struck him out. 1 down for Joe Carter. Joe Carter. That's a 6-12, and that's a split chance. 1-18 is a single. That's a 6, so it'll be a single for Joe Carter. Single for Carter. Shirley's got to be reaching fatigue here shortly, I imagine. Mel Hall is the batter, left-handed, but I don't know that the Tribe have anybody any better on the bench. They've used Castillo, who is technically their best pinch hitter. They got Andre Thornton, but he's not very good. In fact, he's gosh awful. So all they have left is him and Chris Bando. So they're going to have to pretty much, I think, stick with Hall here. Because Bando's not any good either. So they're going to stick with Hall despite being lefty on lefty. That's a 3-8, and he's going to strike out. So Hall out of there on strikes. Last chance is Corey Snyder. That's a 4-9, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-5, but that's a 14, so it'll be a fly ball to right field, and that will do it. The home run by Tabler is for naught, and it's a 10-4 good buddy game. And that's going to do it. 4 runs, 9 hits, and 3 errors. I'm sorry, it should be 1 error. I got it backwards. Got to use my correction tape again. I got ahead of myself. What did I do with my correction tape? Now I can't. Oh, it's under here. Okay. It was actually the Yankees that had 3 errors, not the Indians. Indians only had 1 error. I got it backwards there. Going too fast. All right, so the winner is Rick Rhoden. He's now 3-1. Bob Shirley does get the save. And And we'll go to the box score and get all the particulars. Yep, first save of the season for Shirley. He goes 3 innings, gives up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. Walked 2, struck out 3. Left on base, Yankees left on 14, Cleveland left on 11. And of course, the loser, Scott Bales, is 1-2, and his ERA has now jumped to 9.47. Indians drop to 8-11. Yankees go to 12-6, and we are now through April 25th. We've made it to April the 26th. We'll get the standings, and I will take a picture here real quick. See if I can do this. All right, we'll see if this helps. Let's see if you can see this or not. You may or may not. I'll put it down here and see if it shows up on the video like I hope it would without having to print a piece of paper. Let's get this ring light off. That might help too. So let's bring this up here and see if we can see the standings as of the end of this day. Well, the glare is a little rough here. Let me turn the lights down a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get the standings here. Milwaukee 14-2, 3-game lead over the Yankees, who just won to improve to 12-6. Toronto's 11-6. Detroit 7-9. Cleveland drops to 8-11, 7.5 games back. Baltimore 6-12, and then the poor Red Sox 12.5 games back at 2-15. Milwaukee was 15-1 in real world. They're actually 1 game under what they were in real world. In the American League, the team is overperforming in the West is Oakland. They're 14-4. They were only 6-12 in real world, but they are off to a hot start. They lead the White Sox by 2.5 games, and Minnesota, who was 11-7, is now 8-10. So they're 3 games behind what they normally would be. So there are your standings as of the April 25th end of the season, or end of the April 25th day. Most teams have played anywhere from, let's see, 18 games to as few as 16 games. So it's depending on rainouts and whatnot. Actually 15 games. The White Sox have only played 15 games. So it's a mixture. It's definitely a mixture. But that's those are the standings as we've completed the April 25th schedule. 119 games are down. And I did calculate at one point what the total number of games are, if I played this out correctly. There are 14 teams, so that's 7 matchups with 162 times 7. So I believe it's 1,134 games in the total season. So we're almost at 1,000. We have 1,010 games left. I'm sorry, 1,014 games remaining. 119 down and 1,014 remaining, or actually 1,015 remaining. So, but I mean, it's going to take who knows how long. But I'm enjoying it, and I guess that's all that counts, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Between this and the History Maker with Cincinnati Reds. And like I said, I was doing just one video per calendar day and playing the others offline, but I kind of like it better this way. That way you get to see all the teams all the time, all the pitchers, all the hitters, and everything else. Once we get to the end of April, I will have a complete. In fact, I'll probably do a separate video just on the league leaders, standings and league leaders after the first month of the season, since that's like a benchmark in the season. So we go on to April the 26th. All the game matchups are the same. The teams don't switch opponents on the 26th. On the 27th, they will. There's only 3 games on the 27th, so a lot of teams have the 27th off. 26th of April in real world was a Sunday. So we just finished the Saturday games. Sunday games are going to be the same we just had. Tommy John and Tom Candiotti will be in this matchup on the 26th. And then on Monday, the 27th, there's only 3 games: Boston at Oakland, Detroit at Seattle, and Milwaukee at California. That's it. The rest of the teams are off. So Cleveland for sure will need a day off. So by not having yet pitched in the next game and then it gets the day off, yet we get 2 days off. So by the time we get to April 28th, he should be ready to do some more relief pitching in the bullpen. So that's going to do it from here. Encourage everybody to check out Beatles a little bit later on, as he will be presenting, I believe he said he will be presenting Pure Sim Baseball and maybe a chat, or what's known as a chin wag, where you just kind of shooting the breeze and whatnot. Well, thank you, Larry. Like I said, it's going to take a long time, but I got, I'm not retired yet, but I will be shortly. Once I'm retired, then I really pick up the pace. But I try to fit the games in when I can. And, of course, in April, we'll be starting season ticket baseball for the NBC Game of the Week. That's only 1 game every Saturday, though, so that won't take up that much time. But there you go. Yankees over the Tribe by the score of 10-4. Rhoden the winner, 3-1. Bales the loser, 1-2. And Bob Shirley, his first save of the season. So I want to thank everybody for spending part of their Saturday evening with me and for sticking with me through this blowout of a game. So I do appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Still got tomorrow to go, obviously. For football fans, there's no football tomorrow other than whatever that crap there is doing in the Pro Bowl, turning to flag football. It's just ridiculous what they're doing with that. But anyway, so yeah, tomorrow I might have a game tomorrow night. I haven't decided yet. It might be tomorrow night, or it might be tomorrow morning. Haven't decided. Could be the first game of the April 26th date. And if I do play a game tomorrow morning in Strat-O-Matic, let's look who the first game scheduled is supposed to be. It is, according to the 26th schedule, it is Baltimore and Milwaukee. Mike Flanagan against Mike Birkbeck. Don't know what kind of matchup that would be, but that's the first game listed in Strat-O-Matic, so that I'm going in that order. And that's what they put up there, so that's how I'll play it. Use the old golf term, play it as it lies, and that's what I'll go with. So that's going to do it from here. Again, not the closest game that I would have wanted, but what are you going to do? So hopefully, though, you guys like this setup better with this score sheet, less of the accoutrements and just the plain old cards and dice with the score sheet, and the webcam versus using my phone. Hopefully that helps as well. I do feel like the webcam was worth the purchase now that I've used it. So I really enjoy that. And that's about all I can say from here. Thanks to everybody for being here, and hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And Tabby's downstairs. She didn't want to come up here. She hasn't, ever since Gracie passed away, she really hasn't had any interest in coming up here. I guess it gives her bad memories or bad vibes or something. I don't know, but that's just the way it is. Plus, she's getting older. She's almost 13 years old, so maybe she doesn't want to come up here. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Have a great night, everybody.